Most loans are sold to Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, which is essentially, call it the overlords of all, mortgage companies, banks, all that stuff. Everyone pretty much sells their loans to these people, and they provide the fundings for these loans. So they set the rules. And the rules they've set with investment properties is a minimum of 20% down. And the reason is all risk-based. Obviously, we all know what happened in 2008 where people were just handing out mortgages like it was candy. So with Fannie and Freddie stepping in and making more strict rules, 20% down on investment properties help layer some of that risk so people have skin in the game and they know when somebody's going to buy an investment property, they're not living in it. So that means you're going to have potential delinquencies if someone owns a primary residence and an investment. They don't have somebody in the property so that they make 2 housing payments. That's going to be tough. So it's more so just layering that risk so that way when it gets sold, they know that they're not going to lose the house. They're able to actually collect the servicing money on it.
If you're not familiar with 2008 and how all that stuff worked, watch The Big Short. It's a great movie. It's one of my all-time favorites, honestly. Right now, especially in high inflationary periods, owning assets, hard assets, things that you can touch are very valuable because the buying power of your dollar is going down over time with high inflation. So when you own real estate too, when you're renting it out, you have all these different benefits to it. Even if you don't rent it, but you're still paying down your mortgage, so you're building equity. Your property's going up. I mean, you look at what happened this last year. I know it's kind of a outlier year kind of thing, but if you're holding these properties over 10, 15, 20 years, something like that, past performance does not indicate future results. It's not a guarantee that your property is going to go up, but over the last 10, 15, 20 years, ever since real estate's been a thing, it has gone up. You ask your parents what they buy their house for, 30 years ago, $100,000, and they're selling it now for $370 or something like that. Over time, they do go up, and you're also paying that property down. So at the end of something, as opposed to renting, where you don't actually own anything, where your rent could also go up. There's a lot of things. I'm going to go down a rabbit hole here again too, but your rent's going to go up over time with inflation. Usually it correlates with it when there's a lot of high inflation. Cost of goods, cost of services are going to go up. Property management goes up, so they got to increase your rent. So when you own a hard asset, especially at a low interest rate, if your interest rate is lower than inflation, whatever that spread is there is a benefit to you because as things are getting more expensive, your rate is locked. So while everything is going up in price with inflation, your monthly payment is staying stagnant. It's still. The only things that can change, obviously, are your expenses, your utilities, your property taxes. Your city's growing like crazy. I mean, you look at Ankeny. Ankeny's property taxes have grown like crazy. Tons of development, tons of stuff going into the city. So those can go up, home insurance can go up, but they're all very minimal. The large chunk of your monthly payment is going to be your mortgage, which is your principal and interest.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's, like you said, scenario with right now where rents are going up, home values are still going up, housing payments are also going up, but like you said, they're fixed. And what I tell a lot of people too is if it's going to be a house that you're going to stay in for a while, then having a little bit higher housing payment on the front end, I mean, it may be tough a little bit, but your income is going to go up. Your housing payment's relatively going to stay the same. If you're going to stay in the house for 10 years, you're going to have the benefit of a appreciating asset with a house payment that now you can easily afford and some.